What if the real reason you feel overwhelmed, distracted, and constantly behind isn't because life is too hard, but because your mind is never quiet? We live in a world that rewards noise, speed, and constant reaction, yet deep down, most people feel exhausted, unfocused, and disconnected from themselves. Everyone is busy, but very few are actually present. Everyone is informed, but hardly anyone is clear. And the truth is, without inner stillness, no amount of success, productivity, or motivation will ever feel enough. Welcome to Books Bell. Today, we're exploring the book Stillness Is the Key, written by Ryan Holiday, a powerful work that reminds us of something ancient, simple, and deeply necessary in modern life. In this video, you'll discover why stillness isn't weakness, why calm is not laziness, and how mental quiet can become your greatest competitive advantage. We'll talk about how stillness sharpens decision-making, strengthens emotional control, improves focus, and brings clarity in moments when life feels chaotic. By the end, you'll understand how stillness isn't something you wait for, it's something you practice daily. Modern life trains us to react instantly. Notifications pull us in every direction. Opinions are everywhere. Everyone wants your attention, your energy, your response. And slowly, without realizing it, your mind becomes crowded. When the mind is crowded, judgment gets cloudy. When judgment gets cloudy, mistakes multiply. Stillness is what clears that fog. It's the space where wisdom shows up. The clearest thinkers in history weren't the loudest ones, they were the calmest. They knew that before you can master the world, you have to master your inner state. Stillness begins in the mind. A restless mind is constantly jumping between past regrets and future worries. It replays conversations, imagines worst-case scenarios, and reacts emotionally before thinking clearly. When your thoughts run unchecked, stress becomes your default setting. Stillness doesn't mean stopping thoughts completely. It means not being controlled by them. It means learning how to observe your thinking instead of being dragged around by it. Once you slow down mentally, you gain the ability to pause before reacting, and that pause changes everything. Emotionally, stillness gives you strength. When emotions control you, other people control you. Anger makes you say things you don't mean. Fear makes you hesitate when you should act. Ego makes you defensive when you should listen. Stillness allows emotions to rise and fall without hijacking your behavior. It doesn't suppress feelings, it gives them space without letting them run the show. When you're emotionally still, criticism doesn't break you, pressure doesn't rush you, and praise doesn't inflate you. You stay grounded. Physically, stillness shows up as discipline and presence. Your body carries stress long after your mind moves on. Tight shoulders, shallow breathing, constant fatigue are signs of a life lived without pause. Stillness invites rest, but not laziness. It encourages intentional recovery. When the body is cared for, the mind follows. Sleep improves. Energy stabilizes, focus sharpens. You stop burning yourself out trying to keep up with everything and everyone. Stillness also changes how you handle success. Many people think achievement will finally calm them down, but success without stillness only amplifies chaos. More responsibility, more expectations, more pressure. Without inner balance, success becomes another source of stress. Stillness keeps ambition in check. It helps you pursue goals without losing yourself. You learn to act from purpose instead of panic. You stop chasing validation and start building meaning. One of the biggest obstacles to stillness is ego. Ego loves noise. It wants attention, recognition, and constant stimulation. Ego convinces you that you must always respond, always prove, always defend. Stillness weakens ego's grip. In quiet moments, you see your own patterns clearly, where you overreact, where you seek approval, where you avoid discomfort. That awareness gives you choice, and choice is power. Stillness also improves relationships. When your mind is calm, you listen better. You're not planning your response while someone else is talking. You're actually present. That presence builds trust. It makes people feel seen and heard. Conflict de-escalates. Conversations deepen. You stop trying to win every interaction and start trying to understand. In a noisy world, presence is rare and deeply valuable. Creativity thrives in stillness. Ideas don't come when the mind is overloaded. They come in silence, during walks, quiet mornings, moments of reflection. When you create space, insight fills it. Stillness allows ideas to connect naturally instead of being forced. That's why some of the best thinking happens away from screens, away from deadlines, away from pressure. Stillness isn't escape. It doesn't mean withdrawing from life or ignoring problems. It means engaging with life from a centered place. When chaos hits, and it always does, stillness becomes your anchor. You respond instead of react. You choose your moves carefully. You conserve energy for what truly matters. Practicing stillness doesn't require drastic changes. It begins with small, intentional pauses, moments of silence, fewer unnecessary inputs, more awareness of your inner state. Turning down the noise isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing less better. It's about quality over quantity, depth over speed. Over time, stillness reshapes your identity. You stop being the person who's always rushed, always stressed, always overwhelmed. You become steady, reliable, clear. People trust your judgment because you don't panic. You trust yourself because you're not constantly second-guessing. Stillness becomes a quiet confidence, one that doesn't need to announce itself. In a culture obsessed with hustle, stillness feels counterintuitive. But the most effective people aren't the busiest, they're the most focused. They know when to act and when to wait. They understand that clarity comes before action, not after it. Stillness is what makes that clarity possible. And here's the key realization. Stillness isn't a destination, it's a daily practice. A choice you make again and again to slow down, to listen, to breathe, to observe. Every time you choose stillness, you choose wisdom over impulse, purpose over pressure, and long-term peace over short-term noise. So as you move forward, remember this. You don't need more information, more motivation, or more speed. What you need is space. Space to think, space to feel, space to choose deliberately. Because when the mind is still, the path becomes clear. If this message resonated with you, don't just listen, apply it. Start today by creating one moment of intentional stillness. Protect it, practice it, and watch how everything else begins to align.